Hello, everyone. Hope you are well on this Monday night. I'm going to talk about dealing with the unprepared. We've all had to face it, and we will continue to face it. And I'm just going to give you a bit of my thoughts on it and then also share your thoughts as well. I'm also going to share a really good passage with you, and I'm also going to share a little bit, just a little tidbit from the sermon we heard at our church this past Sunday. Our preacher has just started a sermon series called Essential Jesus, and it is really good. I mean, it just starts with the basics, the really important stuff. And I'm just going to share a little bit about that. It was a packed house. I mean, there had to be I don't know, 400 to 450 people, standing room only at the service. It's 11 o'clock service, and music's great, and it's a great experience. So I'm just going to share a little bit about that. So stay tuned for that. But first, I saw a report where, and this might not be real new, but I mean, I don't think it's too old of a report, but I saw where the average monthly payment for a new vehicle is almost $800, like $780, something like that. Okay, think about that. Average, not the high, the average monthly payment for a new vehicle, $800. That's not for two vehicles, that's for one. How in the world? Now, inflation coupled with high interest rates, it's getting it up there. The average monthly payment for a used vehicle is $544, so almost 550. I don't even want to pay that for a new. I'm paying less than that for a new. Okay. Unreal. Unreal. I don't know how people are doing it. I mean, incomes aren't going up that much. I mean, maybe in some sectors they are. And I know there's a segment of people who, they have that money. I mean, bless them. I mean, go for it. But for the most part, people do not. So I'm not sure how they're swinging this. I'm sure the repo man or the repo men and women are real busy these days, and they're going to get busier. So I don't. I know just keeping up with the Joneses. You know, I would implore you to, and I know most listeners here probably aren't in that category. But watch that. And it just doesn't make sense. I mean, I, most people don't even care what you drive most of the time. Tell you the truth. Now I'm kind of a car slash truck nut, but uh, I'm not going to pay anything close to that. The budget doesn't allow it. Anyway, share your thoughts on that. Okay, getting right into it. Dealing with the unprepared, the non or the anti prepper, I guess you could say. And my first reaction when I think about this is I'm just done. It's just easy to say I'm just done with these people. I don't want to. I'm done trying to convince them. Are you trying to convince them? First, I want to ask that. Are you? What is your experience? Or does it depend on the situation? I think with me, it depends on the situation. Okay. If the person is belligerent and just negative, having that negative energy, and uh, mocking and that kind of thing, then I will not entertain that. I will not entertain that at all. Now, if it's somebody asking, they're genuinely asking questions, and they see what's going on in the world, or they know we're in the twilight zone and been in the twilight zone for a while, so they're starting to ask questions and get curious. Maybe a year or two ago they were not. They had their head in the sand, but now they're pulling it out of the sand. I'm all for talking to those people, and I'll put the time into that. And I have some with friends and some family members. Uh, so I don't mind that, and, if they're genuine about it. That's my thought on initially. Now, I, I have to think that people in general have to. I think it's either one of two things. Now, I think it's either they see it, they know something's going on, they know something's wrong, they know we're in the twilight zone, and they're choosing not to choosing not to pay attention to it. They're just like, no, 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 I don't see this. It's going to get better. They're convincing themselves that it's just going to go back to normal. The gas prices have come down. Hey, well, compare the gas prices now to what it was a couple of years ago. No, they haven't come down. Or they'll say, well, the interest rates will come back down, inflation will come back down. They're working on it. They believe everything they hear on the regular news. They're either in that camp or they're delusional, and they are absolutely there are some that are absolutely delusional. I know some, and you can't really reason with that. You can try. Maybe they'll come around, but that's the group that I'm really, I'm concerned about. And when things do go sideways, that is the group you really have to watch and you really have to be careful about. Okay, because they're going to be very angry, and they could be very dangerous. Okay, that's my thought on that. Um, some of the other things they may say is that you're paranoid, you're nuts, all that kind of stuff. Those are the folks that I'm going to avoid, and those are the folks I will keep a real keen eye on when things go a little nutty, when you get the SHTF. Okay, again, if people are genuine and they really are just asking for information, you know, and I've had people come to me and say, hey, I know you're a preparedness person, and I've just noticed these things over some time. What do you think about this and this and this? That's awesome. I'm all in for it. And what I typically will do, and what I recommend for you is, if you don't do this already, is approach it from a practical standpoint. Start with basics, like prepare for, and I advise them, and I encourage them, first just think about preparing for short-term emergencies. Storms, natural disaster, a short-term power outage. It happens. Personal SHTFs. What happened? Are you ready for a flat tire? Do you have enough money saved to repair a tire, to get even a minor auto repair done? Can you do that? Think about that first and get there first. Start with, save up enough water and food for a week, 2 weeks. Work up from that just incrementally and just build on it slowly. It doesn't bust your budget, you know, uh, and approach it from that point, because that makes a lot of sense, right? And that is like the gateway drug, if you will, to more preparedness, and that will get them on the path. That's the way I approach it, and it works well. You can also use references from the Bible. Noah. I mean, is there a more ultimate prepper than Noah? And Joseph was as well. So, uh, so get them thinking. I mean, the increase in crime alone, the economy alone, is enough. At worst, what will happen? You have extra food, you have some extra preps. You know, I, I don't get why it's such a bad thing. We're not hoarding. You can differentiate that. We're not hoarding. We're not clearing the shelves. We're just getting a couple of extra items. Okay. Approach it from the very practical, pragmatic point of view. Okay. That's my recommendation with that. Um, Also, we are starting to look at your, and this is something you can talk to others about as well. Look at your home, look at your security. And I think, and here at the Dogstead, we are taking steps to increase our security, our to be what I call a harder target. You don't want to be a soft target. Walk around your home, your property. Um, Even if you rent, I mean, walk around and look at it from the outside. If you have a home, walk to the end of your neighborhood, the end of your street, and walk towards your home and past your home, and just look around. Does it look easy? Does it look like something that you would want to try to get into if you're a criminal? Or does it look like, well, I'm going to skip that one? You know, even if you take all these things and like here, we're taking some extra steps. We're in the process. We've already made some progress, but we're working on more to make, to create more of a hard target look, more barriers, physically, and especially those that are grid not grid dependent. In other words, if the grid goes down, we have no electricity, then it's not dependent on that. It's more physical, old school type of security. Okay, so think in those terms, and just look at it from an outsider point of view. Uh, is it bulletproof? Is it totally going to keep somebody out? No. However, what you want to shoot for is that you want to be that place that they just skip by. They may not even notice it. You don't be the one that stands out. And, you kind of want to blend in, and also you want to be that one they just I don't know. I see dog, beware of the dog signs here and there. They just have a lot of barriers here. I'm just going to go to one that looks a lot more accessible, a lot more easy. So think about that. Think about it in those terms. Okay, I'm going to go quickly to the passage and share that. Passage is from Matthew. Matthew chapter 7 verses 24 through 27. The wise and foolish builders. Okay, it says, therefore anyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew, beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. So what is your foundation? What is your faith? What is your security built on? Is it built on sand? It's just going to wash away. It may look good at first. Or is it built on rock where it will withstand the tests? It will withstand the storms that we are going through and that are yet to come. And I want to also say, don't build, and this is some of the things that our pastor was talking about, don't build your foundation based on what the world tells you. This world, it'll deceive you in a moment. You can see it out there, right? Let's base it on the biblical teachings. And also the 3 P's, pray, prioritize, and plan. Pray for God to reveal where your foundation is weak. Prioritize. Jesus is number one for everything in your decisions, work, play, family. We need to prioritize and keep our faith strong. And then plan, prepare. Prepare your solid foundation, whether that's your physical home, all the way up to your faith, your relationships, mentally, physically, and spiritually, home and faith. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that. Hope that was helpful. Share your thoughts. Let's stay safe out there. Be aware. God bless you. I'll see you soon.